Hello everyone, this is Tater Chimp here, and today we're taking on the painted world of Ariamis. And I wasn't sure if I beat this area before, so I decided to check it out, warp myself in, and just kind of scoped out the area a bit. We have the ability to warp. Oh, no, we can't warp. Good to know. Alright, so I decided to make things a little bit more interesting on myself tonight, and how I am doing that is actually I am playing the game after having a few drinks. My intent is to clear the painted world of Ariamis while drunk. And I say drunk just a little bit. Just a little bit. I think I had three, so Crown Royal, Canadian whiskey, good whiskey. They make a maple finished drink. And if I had to rate my three favorite flavors in the world, it would probably be, in order, white chocolate, peanut butter, maple syrup. So, maple syrup flavored whiskey, pretty much up there. So I was like, of course I'll drink that. So, actually what I wound up doing, I wound up mixing a Crown Royal maple with sours. And I had 3 of those. And then at my right hand tonight, I have a drink that is a Glenfiddich 15. And the Glenfiddich 15 compared to the Crown Royal, I have to tell you, it's good. It's very, very good. The reason why I say that, like, I don't know anyone who's listening if you're into drinks and whiskey and all that stuff. I am. That's the sound of whiskey. I do enjoy my whiskeys. The Crown Royal Maple Finished is like cloyingly sweet, and then I mix it with sours, and that was just like, oh man, it was too much. It was too sweet. So then I went back and I got this Glenfiddich 15, which I had because it was actually a gift from some of my coworkers because they're very kind and they appreciate the work that I do. So they actually, almost fell off an edge there. They gave it to me as just a thank you. We appreciate everything you did, which is very sweet of them, very kind, very considerate. But oh my god, comparing that to the Crown Royal, it's just not even fair. Like, it's just got this complexity and this depth. So as you can tell, I'm not going to be talking about the game, like, at all. These guys, they're poisonous dudes. Screw these guys. They suck. They'll bleed all over you, and it's just like, ugh, it's a pain. You don't want to deal with this. So I've got a crossbow, I've got it on fire, got the wrong bolts, whatever. So when I started drinking, when I started drinking whiskey, I started drinking like as soon as I could. When I started drinking whiskey, the reason why I started was I was bored. My girlfriend at the time was out of town, and I thought to myself, like, okay, I'm gonna go to a campus bar. This was back when I was in college at university. And I decided, I was like, I'm going to go to a university bar. I'm going to go to one of these little dive places. And it's way too small, and there's too many people, and there's not enough room, and the bartenders don't know what they're doing. And it sucks. Don't go to a university bar. It's a bad idea. So I went to one of these, right? And I'm thinking, I'm a nerdy guy. I'm the kind of guy who on a Friday night is drunk playing Dark Souls. So I'm like, I have to order a drink to make up for who I am, you know? So I have to order a cool dude drink. So I ordered, it was a Jack Daniels on the rocks, because that's what a cool dude would get, right? So I wound up getting that, and over the course of like an hour, I sipped down this full drink. And for those of you who have actually had tolerance built up to alcohol, by the way, this guy absolutely cannot touch us as long as we have a crossbow. It's so dumb. But if you have a tolerance to alcohol, you know that sipping on Jack Daniels should not take an entire hour. So, more whiskey. It shouldn't take an entire hour. I was definitely nursing that bad boy, but I was having a good time with it. And I realized, you know, like, for the cost of just having liquor, it's pretty cheap. I could get a beer, or I could get 80 proof liquor all the time. My lock-on keeps breaking. I apologize for that for some reason. So I thought to myself, like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get into whiskey. So I'd keep getting these whiskey drinks. I'd keep getting Jack Daniels on the rocks, things like that, to just build up my tolerance to it. And there's this one bar, really cool. It's this like little, it's an indie hipster place. They play indie hipster music, so I don't feel bad labeling them as such. But yeah, so they actually, their bar staff knows what they're doing. These crows are dicks, by the way. They have this little grappling attack that will absolutely screw you over, so you just want to stay at range-ish. Yeah, so they're hipsters. They absolutely are, and I love them for it, because they know what they're doing with drinks. One of the bartenders there, I asked him, I was like, okay, you're me, right? You've seen what kind of drinks I order. What would you recommend for me? And he recommended a Sazerac. And for those of you who don't know, everyone, sorry, it is actually, you line a glass with absinthe. So you just pour a little bit in, you line that up. Then you take rye whiskey, you mix it in with a sugar cube, and you muddle that together. So I thought that was a bonfire. So you get all that going. And then, what is it? It's an orange peel? I think it's something like an orange peel, 5K morsels. And you pour that in, and it winds up being this drink that's just incredibly complex. And this is definitely going to get me invaded, but I figured I should show the invader for this area, so I'll pop a humanity for that. But yeah, the Sazerac was just this wonderful drink. So they actually got me started on a lot of that stuff. And they know how to make another very good drink, a drink that I have very near and dear to my heart. It's called a Harvey Wallbanger. And what that is you take orange juice and vodka, and I guess originally it called for a white wine, but go with vodka, and you mix in Galliano with that. And what Galliano is it is a liquor that is black licorice flavored. So you mix that in with the drink, and for some reason, like a lot of bars, if they even have Galliano, they'll be like, okay, I think I know how to make that, and they'll try, and they'll mess it up. It's a hard drink to make. It is a very hard drink to make. So they'll screw it up, but you get to learn something about the bar. Because, like, campus bars, they'll make you a rum and coke, and that rum and coke is gonna suck. They know if you have to list the ingredients how to make it. But, otherwise, they're just like, you want a what? There's actually one bar. It's downtown in Iowa, where I am. And what they do, and you can see here on the PC version that the level kind of clips in a bit, but not a big deal. Yeah, there's one bar, and they knew what they were doing. They knew how to make certain drinks, and so they were able to do that kind of competently. And then I asked the bartender, I was like, do you know how to make a Cuba Libre? And he just looked at me like, really? This drink again? And so he had to pull out his little black book of all of the drinks that they knew how to make. And he looked at me, he looked at the book, he's like, really, guy? Because all a Cuba Libre is a rum and coke with a bit of lime in there. So it was me being a dick, but I thought it was funny at the time. But yeah, as far as drinking whiskey goes, just kind of build yourself up to it a bit. Get yourself used to drinks like that. One of the hardest kind of drinks to actually get used to get acclimated to, is a Manhattan, because that is, oh, I'm going in circles. It's bourbon and vermouth, and neither of those is good on its own. But if you find a place that makes a good Manhattan, especially if they splash a little of that maraschino cherry juice in, you found yourself a good home. If they know how to make a good Manhattan, you are set. It's there's actually an episode of The Simpsons where Bart learns how to make Manhattans for the mob, and it's like, yeah, it's a talent, it's a skill. So I recommend if you go out drinking, and this is gonna get me toxic, isn't it? Nope, avoided it. Yeah, totally pro. And I still haven't created the invasion from that guy that I was gonna do. Xanthus King Jeremiah. Woo! More whiskey. My apologies. So, yeah, like, find a bar that knows how to make drinks. I asked, when I turned 21, I was dating a girl, and I asked her dad, who was fairly old for being her dad. Like, he was definitely in his, oh geez, a lot of damage there. A lot of damage. Fortunately, we have Estus, so we're good. Um, I asked her dad, I was like, what did you drink when you were in college? And he told me he drank a Tom Collins. So I had to have one of those. And that is gin, it is sours, and it is citrus. Some places go with just a sours mix. If they use a sours mix, that's fine, but you generally want fresh squeezed lime juice or fresh squeezed lemon juice in that instead. It turns out so much better. If they do it right, it's like it really is like a 7-Up, like a kind of soda sort of thing. It's great. But, you know, if they don't, it's not a big deal. It's still a good drink. So later on, I asked my dad, I was like, what did you drink when you were in college? And he told me that he liked to drink 7 and 7, which is a Seagram 7, which is a brand of whiskey, and 7-Up. So it's basically lemon lime whiskey. That drink is good. That drink is good, and it is cheap. I will tell you that much. And then I asked my grandpa, I was like, what did you like to drink when you were in college? And he told me it was a Manhattan. And the Manhattans, like I said before, they are a bastard to try and get used to drinking. But once you get it down, it's fantastic. What are the downsides of this character, by the way? Absolutely no poise. If an enemy hits me, I'm just like, nope, I'm out. So yeah, I started trying those drinks, and I got into the old school kind of scene, like the Tom Collins, Harvey Wallbangers. There's something to be said about those drinks. And I know a lot of people now, basically, my prejudice is that they have the ingredients in the name of the drink. It's an X and Y. It's a Jack and Coke. It's a rum and Coke. It's cranberry vodka, Red Bull vodka. And, like, those are good for people drinking it. I'm not going to be like, well, you shouldn't be drinking it. It's bad. Bleh. But, like, there's so many different drink combinations out there. Like, there's so much to explore, so many different flavors and things, where it's just, it's not worth it to deprive yourself of all of that. So, yeah, I think I've talked about drinking long enough. I'll probably get back to it because I'm drinking. But we've actually managed to get through basically the entire painted world of Ariamis in order to get to the Crossbreed Priscilla fight. So this area right here, we're straightforward there. And there is a reason why I'm using the fire crossbow at this point. Fire attacks, it's been speculated that those stagger her more than non-elemental attacks. And also the crossbow bolts will stick in her body for a little bit, just as a proof of concept. And sure, I'll get hit by that. Proof of concept, that crossbow, I guess that didn't work. It sticks at enemies. You can see it on me where the crossbow is there. The bolt remains, so you can see at least where she is, so you can have an idea of where to fire or where to retreat from. However, Whiskey Brick, ooh, that's good stuff. But basically, with the shield that we have, it's definitely easier with the Eagle Shield or with the Great Shield of Artorias to, oh wow, that was almost a mistake, to be able to tank her attacks. She does deal a lot of the heartbreak, I don't know what to call it. Bleed. That's it. The bleed attack. I think I'm just going to be fine with the fire crossbow at this point. She deals a lot of that damage to you. So if you aren't blocking, be prepared to deal with that. Otherwise, yeah, it's going to be a bit of a pain to deal with her. Once she turns visible again, I think we should be able to lock her down. But before that time frame, it could be a bit tricky. And actually, this is a completely optional boss fight. There are the stairs. If I wanted to leave, I could. But this is a challenge run. And this is about me. So we are taking this crossbreed down. Now, there's snow on the ground, so you can actually follow her footsteps if you're watching the ground carefully enough. Over here in this quadrant, you can see there is actually no snow, so you cannot employ that strategy. But yeah, she moves a little bit slow, so yeah, she's basically kind of in front of us. And this is where using just a crossbow is going to come back to bite us in the butt. Because aiming a crossbow manually to try and find a target is actually really painful. So it's actually a very good thing that we have these kind of quick rolls to be able to get us through this fight a little bit. Because there's no way to manually aim these. There really is not. So it's basically going to be wild speculation as to where she might be until she appears again. Now, actually, what you can do is back there by the stairs, and I just realized I have not fought the Xanthus King Jeremiah. So there's one occasionally. Oh, no. Okay. So we're just going to roll out of the way. We have to wait for this meter to go down. And I have fought this fight before using only the fist. Whiskey time! Using only... Ooh, that's good. The Dragonbone Fist. And it was the same thing. I was just waiting to see her footsteps to try and get a track on it. But it's a little bit more reliable in the placement of it. So there's the footsteps, so we know she's sort of in this area. No hits, no... Oh, there was a hit. So move out of the way of the scythe attack. Did not get a chance to do that. Now, if you have Pyromancy, it's speculated that Pyromancy brings her out of this kind of fogged effect a little bit easier. So I'm hoping that fire kind of translates to that as well. Nope. From the looks of it, we're just going to get our ass kicked. So basically, I've got 20 Estus. She's got a limited amount of health. One way or another, someone here is going to break. That's how this fight's going to go. Still nothing. Still nothing. She's probably right next to us. Move. Yeah. So this fight can actually be a bit of a pain. Up there, we have an indication. That was too high. Nope. She's coming our way. Probably, yeah, a little bit there. Nope. So XKCD, it's a webcomic, and it actually popularized this concept, and they called it a Balmer curve. And what a Balmer curve is it doesn't apply to Dark Souls, clearly. What the concept is that there are certain activities which you get better at whilst you are intoxicated. Oh, run, 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 run! Go! Yes, dodge. Okay. And it originally applied to programming in the context of the comic because it was saying for Windows 7? It was either 7 or XP, and I don't remember, and it's not really important to the story. There's another hit on her. And we saw the initial hit actually did a fair amount of damage. So we don't actually have to hurt her that particularly much. And there we go. Now I've got her visible. So now this fight is... we're going to be able to deal a substantial amount more damage. We're going to be able to evade her attacks a lot better. But what the Balmer curve is that the more drunk you are, there is a certain amount of blood alcohol content to skill ratio, basically. So like at a 0.06, you'd be better at coding than at sober. So kind of applying the same principles here, because you're dead, girl, and I feel bad about that. Speculation was that she is pregnant by me because she drops Soul Priscilla, twin humanities. The only other boss in the game that drops a twin humanities, as far as I know, right now while I'm drunk, is the Gargoyles, and that is because you were fighting 2 of them. Crossbreed Priscilla drops twin humanities when you are fighting 1 of her. And you could argue, well, this is a balance issue. You had to go through the painted world of Ariamis to get those twin humanities. No. You get 2 humanities for a reason. She doesn't want to fight you. She is hesitant. She just says, go. Leave. I don't want to do this. She's pregnant. The same reason why she's out there in this exiled world, whoever put her out there, whoever made her a crossbreed, has also gotten her pregnant. That's my theory. That is my personal speculation. And a lot of people have been saying that she is a result of Seath and possibly Gwendolyn. Like something along those lines. So, I mean, like, if she is pregnant with a, I guess it'd be 3/4 dragon, 1/4 possibly human, possibly 1/4 god. That's a big deal. That is a big deal. And that is why she would get banished to the pained world of Ariamis with Xanthus King Jeremiah, who I never fought. I'm good at this game, guys. I swear to God, I'm good at it. That's why. That's why. That's Zwei. Aha, puns. That is me drinking more whiskey. Why do you ask? Actually, it's not whiskey. It's scotch. There's a distinction. And the distinction between whiskey and scotch is that scotch is made in Scotland. That's it, in case you're wondering. Let's see, I think whiskey is... I don't even know. I think it's a corn-based alcohol. I could be wrong on that. No, vodka's potato. But I'm pretty sure it's a gin-based alcohol. So, yeah. But actual scotch has to come from Scotland. That's what makes it scotch. Oh, and I don't have a bonfire there. So I have to find another one. That's not that bad. I've got the Dark Moon Tomb. But, yeah, that's pretty much the distinction. Bourbon, I'm not sure exactly what separates bourbon from whiskey. Generally, it's a little bit more bold in flavor. And I definitely associate it with more Heart of America kind of stuff. So, but again, I don't really know. I believe... No, Jack Daniels is definitely Tennessee whiskey. Maker's Mark is bourbon. That's about as expensive as you need to go for bourbon, in my opinion. And balls, I don't have that there. So, I have to go back through the cathedral in order to get to a bonfire where I can warp back to Firelink to continue these videos. Which wouldn't be so bad if I wasn't carrying 40,000 souls. Damn! We're in a tight spot. Oh brother, where art thou? Fantastic movie. I love it. It's George Clooney. There's some other people who are supporting actors who I don't recognize as much, but still, it's a very good movie. It's loosely based on the Odyssey, and I put in an R1 attack there, so that's why I got hit. Loosely based on the Odyssey, pretty good film. I definitely like the soundtrack for it. So speaking of soundtracks, I have been using Spotify a bit, and this is not a paid sponsorship. I'm going to say that right up front, because Xbox ran into a bit of hot water with that stuff with the XB1, and who was it that sponsored that? Was it Machinima, I think? Where they're like, don't tell anyone, but shh, say good things. But yeah, it was with Spotify. I put on a classical rock station, and oh man, that has just been scratching an itch. It's just been like all the music that I want to hear lately. I put on alternative, and I was like, this is like 50-50. It's kind of good, kind of indie. The classical rock stuff has just been like goodness. It's been all good. Except for there's a Tom Petty song, and it is like The Last Dance. You fell off like an idiot. I think it's The Last Dance with Mary Jane by Tom Petty. And I remember that song because I was driving from Iowa to Chicago with my dad, and that song came on the radio. He's like, I love this song, and he was singing along. And I know you guys don't know my dad, but if you knew my dad, you know how weird it is to hear him sing along to a song, because there's a lyric in it. Whiskey. There's a lyric in it, and it's, I don't know what I've been told. And then there's a radio edit, and I guess that there's a normal version of the song, because there's a military cadence that's, I don't know what I've been told, but Eskimo is mighty cold. And that was how he originally knew the song. So he was singing along that way, and it just, I cracked up. It was the best. It's, I don't know. I'm not sure what other people's relations with their dad is, but mine, it's just all dirty jokes and stupid stories and things like that. So it made me laugh. And I realize here there is a good chance I'm going to get invaded. I have broken I've killed Gwendolyn, so there are the Dark Moon Blades, whatever it is. They can invade me any second. I'm also in Orlando, so I could be invaded for that any second. And, yeah, general unpleasantness. Let's just try and get to a bonfire. But, I don't know, I thought I'd share. It's a fun story. Stupid story. So, hopefully all this video doesn't come out as just me, like, slurred speeches like, duh, you guys, chicks and Red Bull. New haircut and all that. Pro tip, if a girl asks, hey, have you seen my new haircut? Don't think of the YouTube video. Just throwing that out there. Alright, so pump that into endurance. And this is our penultimate level, actually. So we are doing pretty dang well for ourselves. Now, the only remaining spot that we have left in the game where there are additional bosses, as we just took out Crossbreed Priscilla, is going to be the DLC. And I feel like I should tackle the DLC, but I think that might just be something that I have to do while sober. So I am going to cut this video, and I'm going to say I will see you guys next time on Tater Chimp Tackles Dark Souls. See ya.